All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to today's class. I'm Prankur Arora. I'm going to be your instructor on this lesson on this particular video, and very welcome to the CAT4MBA YouTube channel. Now, I am here today to talk about something very, very interesting. To talk about something from the world of positive psychology, positive expectancy that can help you identify how we actually create habits. How do we create powerful habits, or how do we create habits that can help us attain a high level of productivity, help us sustain a good level of success, and how do we even get rid of habits or change habits that we're not so happy about. That is what I'm going to be talking about. Allow me to tell you a little bit about myself first. I hold advanced certifications in facilitation from an American organization known as the Leadership Management International. uh, I am a writer, I'm a coach, I'm a trainer. I've been doing this for a long, long time now. I've even consulted with a lot of organizations on different aspects of, you know, uh, learning and development, on different aspects of communication, on different aspects of software, aspects of behavior, right? And I take classes pertaining to VARC on this YouTube channel, CAT4MBA YouTube channel, English proficiency per se. That is my forte. Now let's understand the blueprint for success, right? Let me write down the word success first for you guys. Success. How do we define success? How do we define success? What do we understand uh, by the word success, right? Now you will come up with words such as happiness. You'll come up with words such as money, fame. Some of you might a lot. So inherently, all of us will have different definitions for success, right? Somebody wants fulfillment, somebody wants happiness, somebody wants money, somebody wants fame, somebody wants comfort, right? These are all the adjectives, these are all the words that we associate with the word success. But how do we define it really in tangible terms, right? In tangible terms, the degree of success, whether it is in terms of happiness, it is in terms of fulfillment, in terms of comfort, in terms of money, in terms of anything whatsoever, the degree of success that you enjoy in life, it really depends on the results, right? It really depends on the results that you produce, right? The greater the results, the greater your level of success, the greater your degree of success, both in quantity as well as quality, right? As I said, all of us define success in different ways, right? So the greater your degree of success, the greater your degree of results, the greater your degree of success. That is the correlation between success and results, right? Now what happens is, what do we mean by results, right? What do we really mean by results? What do we make of results? How do we understand results? Now the idea here is that our results that we produce, the results that we attain, the results that we produce, they are the consequences of our behavior. How do we act, right? Let me write that down here. Behavior. What is our behavior? How do we define our behavior? Behavior is how we act, right? What are our actions, right? Are we lazy? Are we lethargic? Are we proactive, right? Our general behavior tells us the kind of results that we get, right? For example, in school, if you had a unit test, right, if one day before the unit test you're only beginning with your preparation, that means that you've been lethargic all time long, right? You've been lethargic, and now at the last moment you're trying to figure out what to do, right? Whereas somebody who's proactive might have prepared a week in advance, and then they spend a week in good mood, without any anxiety, without any anxiousness, without any last minute mood killers, right? So our behavior will tell us what are our actions all about, and these actions are the ones that lead to our results. The greater the degree of the greater the results, the greater the degree of our success, both in terms of quality and quantity, right? I hope you agree with me thus far, right? I hope you agree with me thus far. Now, what do we mean by behavior? See, try and understand. Our behavior is a product of our attitude in the moments, right? What is our attitude in the moment, right? Are we people who quit at every instance of an obstacle or a difficulty, or are we people who persevere? Are we people who who persist through anything and everything. Right now, what happens is our behavior, it reflects our attitude, right? The way we habitually think, right? Our attitude is how we think in the moment, how we think whenever we are faced with anything and everything in our lives, right? That is what our attitude is, right? How do you define attitude? It is how you think in the moment, right? So attitude essentially, if you define it further in terms of psychology, becomes our habit of thought. What is attitude? Attitude is our habit of thought, right? How you think, right? You'd have come across this quote, right? Uh, you know, how you think defines how you act, right? You would have come across this quote. Some of you might know about it, right? So attitude is our habit of thought, right? Now what happens is that our habit of thought, right, how we think consistently, is a product of our conditioning, right? It is a product of our conditioning. How are we brought up, right? What are the kind of scenarios that we grew up in? What is the kind of environment that we grew up in, right? That is our conditioning essentially. Just give me a moment. That is our conditioning, right? Our conditioning, we've all been conditioned to think and act in different ways, in certain ways, by our families, by our friends, by the TV, by the news media, by if you went to temples or churches or mosques, by the priests that we came across, and others who've basically influenced our thought process, right? Even right now, all of us, because of social media, might be following some kind of an influencer, right? However, just think back, just take a seat, think back for a moment. How do we let these influencers influence our lives? Yeah, right? Even that is our present conditioning, right? The past conditioning influences our present, and the present conditioning will influence our future. That is how it works, right? So our conditioning is essentially caused by repetition of certain ideas and actions, right? Let me write down the phrase for you. It is what we call spaced repetition. Conditioning is nothing but spaced repetition of certain ideas, of certain thought processes, over and over with intervals of time, right? And even that is how the world of advertising functions. If you think about it, the entire world of advertising functions on top of the mind awareness, right? They try to bombard you with content, in the form of ads, in the form of newspapers, in the form of influencers. Any content distribution network tries to maintain consistency with the ads of the products and services that they're selling, so that they're able to develop that space repetition on your mind, so that they're able to condition your mind to be able to engage with the product, to be able to buy the product, buy that service, right? That is how top of the mind awareness works, right? So space repetition, as I said, it is essentially uh, the repetition of certain ideas over and over, right, in brief intervals of time, right? Now here's the exciting part. Now we know what the blueprint is like, right? We know that this is the blueprint, right? We know this is the blueprint. पहले स्पेस रेपिटेशन होगा तो आपकी कंडीशनिंग होगी. आपकी कंडीशनिंग की वजह से आपका हैबिट ऑफ थॉट डेवलप होगा. Because of the habit of thought, you will form a behavior. Behavior means you will figure out how you act, right? How you act in certain moments, right? Your actions will define the kind of results you get, and your results will essentially tell us all about the success that you achieve. Now here's the exciting part, right? This is a process that has brought to us to this moment, right? All of us have our own set of baggage in terms of the spaced repetition of ideas that we've had, in terms of the conditioning that we've had, in terms of the attitude that we live with today, in terms of the behavior that we live with, the results that we are getting on a daily basis, right? So this is a process that we are all a product of, right? Now, if we use the spaced repetition of powerful ideas, right? Today, if you define that, okay, fine, you know what? From now onwards, I will make sure that my spaced repetition is of powerful ideas, it is of powerful actions, right? What we can do is we can change our conditioning, right? We can change our conditioning going forward, right? If we change our conditioning, our habits of thought will also change. We will become more positive. We can choose to become more positive, right? And since we can choose to become more positive, our habit of thought is changing, our behavior will change, and we'll have powerful actions, right? If we have powerful actions, we'll have better results, right? And once we have better results and improved results, the success that we will enjoy will also increase, right? So what I'm trying to get at is better spaced repetition. Better spaced repetition will lead to positive conditioning, right? Will lead to positive conditioning, will lead to powerful habit of thought, right? Powerful habits of thought. Uh, this will lead to powerful actions, right? And if we have powerful actions, if we have positive actions and powerful actions, we'll have better results, and better results would obviously get us a greater degree of success. This is how we can use this blueprint for ourselves, right? And this is what I want you to be really, really cognizant of. You know what? You can all change your own space repetition. You can make sure that the podcast, the music, the content that you watch, it is all, it is consistently different and consistently more positive and result oriented from what you've been doing thus far. Just try this for a month, see the results that you will get. For example, if you've been thinking कि यार मेरे को weight loss करना है और आप 2 साल से सोच रहे हो यार, you can do it by conditioning yourself in a different manner, right? Making small small things. My friends come back and tell me यार मेरे को meditation करनी है, इतने टाइम से मैं कर नहीं पा रहा हूँ, मैं शुरू नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, मैं कैसे करूँ? Simple. Before you go to sleep, instead of watching Netflix, listen to a guided meditation practice, right? Something as simple as that. Listen to a podcast that talks about meditation, read a book that talks about meditation. The idea being that the entire process of conditioning and spaced repetition depends on you, right? The ownership is on you, because you didn't get to where you are today over single night, right? There's been countless nights that have defined the person that you've become, right? So be a little patient, allow the process to happen, right? And we've all talked, and I've been talking about conditioning for a while. Let me tell you something. Much of our conditioning has been positive and productive, and that is why we are who we are right now, right? You're preparing for an MBA exam because your conditioning has been about it, right? You want to achieve a CXO level position in an organization, or you want to build your own startup. That means that you have that kind of conditioning, right? You know that you're doing, or you want to pursue management for a reason, so you've got a good conditioning, right? We all have had powerful, positive and productive conditioning, just that somewhere it lacks to a certain extent, and that is the story of India. Because as children, uh, the word that we've heard more often than any other word in the world, right? The word that we've heard more often than any other word in the world is no. Our parents, they were always well intentioned, but most of the things that we asked for, we always got a no. Why? Because they try to protect us, they try to shield us from an injury, from a breakup, they from bad news. That is what they've been trying to do. Eh, always the story of India is the story of no, you guys, right? But the word no, even though it was well intentioned, more often than not, it has been drilled into all of us, right? And it may make us very, very cautious. It may make us very, very, uh, very, very fearful of things, very, very indecisive in certain conditions. And this word, it may keep us from approaching life with a healthy and a positive optimism that leads us to see things the way they can be done, instead of dwelling upon reasons about why they can't be done, right? I hope you're understanding where I'm coming from. Now let me give you an illustration of how conditioning works, right? We're talking about conditioning, so let me give you an illustration of how it works, right? Think about this. Close your eyes and listen to the story that I tell you. you know uh, an elephant. If you try to visualize an elephant, close your eyes and try to visualize an elephant, right? You know for a fact that an elephant can pick up 1 ton of load with its trunk, That is how powerful these creatures are. But if you visited a circus in your life, try to go back to that moment of when you saw an elephant in a circus. You watch these huge creatures, they were standing quietly while tied to a very small stake, and that stake uh, had a knot of rope, right? It had a knot of rope, and that rope was holding that elephant, right? This is how you remember elephants from the circus days, right? An elephant that can lift a load of 1 ton was tied by fiber ka rope to a small stake. More often than not, it was a wooden stake, right? Because you know why that is, why the elephant was not even trying to free itself from this predicament. Because when the elephant was young, when the elephant was weak, the elephant was tied by heavy chains to an immovable iron stake, right? So the conditioning of the elephant was that it was always shackled with chains to an iron stake. So no matter how hard it tried, it could not break the chain or free itself from that iron stake, right? So that was the conditioning. That was the spaced repetition of ideas that it had. It was always drilled into the elephant that you can't be free. No, you can't be free. No, you can't be free. However much you try, you can't free yourself. That is the no that was drilled into the elephant. So no matter how large the elephant got, when the elephant grew up, it continued to believe that it could not move itself from that stake. Right? So many intelligent human beings today in India are like the circus elephant. The no is drilled into us, right? And we are always restrained in our thoughts, in our actions, in our results. We always dwell upon why or how things can't be done instead of thinking about how we can do those things or how we can make things happen, right? We never move any further than the extent of our own self imposed limitations, right? The only chain holding us right now, guys, the only chain that is holding us back is our own self concept, is our own self belief, is our own limitation about our own self potential, right? So that is how many elephant chains are we tied down with is something that I leave you with. Think about all the elephant chains that are holding you back, all the elephant chains that are holding you back, right? Figure it out, dwell upon this, but know for a fact that you can change it. How can you change it? Remember this blueprint. Remember this blueprint. Watch good podcasts on a daily basis, right? Watch positive podcasts, right? Condition yourself with more powerful ideas, with better ideas, right? So that your attitude is more positive, so that your behavior is superior, so that you get better results and the degree of success that you enjoy is great. Right? This is what I leave you with. But before you do this, you have to first identify your own elephant chains. Think about what's holding you back so that you know what it is that you have to condition yourself on, so that you know what is the kind of spaced repetition that you really, really need in your life right now. Right, so this has been the lesson and the tip for the day from my end. Allow me to tell you a little bit about the platform now, the Unacademy platform. You will come across amazing mentors who help you with a spaced repetition of powerful ideas, who will condition you with powerful ideas so that you're able to perform well in these exams. We regularly conduct tests and quizzes as well. All the question and answers on the platform are conducted in the form of live polls. All the courses are pretty much structured on the platform, and with one subscription, you get unlimited access to it all. Right. These are the various subscription models. You can clearly see as the time period goes up, the cost of the subscription per month goes down dramatically. And if you use my name Prankur, you will get an extra 10% off on any of the subscriptions that you go for. These are a few top performers from last year, right? And these are the batches that we're running right now, right? We have a weekday evening batch, an exclusive weekday evening batch again, and then a weekend batch for CAT 2021 as well. You can start learning from all of these educators for free. Remember that you can start learning from all of them for free before deciding whether you'd want to subscribe to their batch, enroll in their course or not. The next Unacademy Champions League is on the February of 14th on Sunday from 5 p.m. to 5:40 p.m. It's a VARC test. I would encourage you to sign up to this program, right? Participate in this test. You stand to win Amazon vouchers as well as Unacademy Plus subscription. And yeah, that's pretty much it from my end. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys again. I'll be back with another tip, another strategy video from the world of positive psychology for you all. See you guys.